The Shar Pei has its historical origins in the southern provinces of China. Sources suggest the origin of the breed in the time of the Han Dynasty, 206 BC to 220 AD. The Shar Pei was a dog of the poor rural population, especially farmers used it as a guard dog for house and yard. He was also sometimes used as a herding dog or hunting dog. While the Shar Pei was widespread at the time, the original Shar Pei was nearly extinct by the mid-1950s. The Hong Kong breeder Matco Law stated in the early 1970s that there were just under a dozen Shar Pei dogs in the world. In 1972, the Shar Pei was presented as a breed for the first time. In 1976, the breed was considered the rarest dog breed in the world. Only 145 animals were counted. The first specimens of the breed came to Germany in 1979, and other imports from Hong Kong and the USA quickly followed. In the 1960s, Matco Law and Chung Ching Ming created the conditions for the Shar Pei as it is known and popular today. However, today's Shar Pei shows clear differences compared to the original breed, although the hard hair, the curled tail, the triangular ears and the blue tongue have been preserved. The physique of today's Shar Pei seems bulkier despite its smaller body size. The head is also larger. Diet of the Shar Pei. As with all other dog breeds, feeding the Shar Pei a high-quality, meat-based food is highly recommended. Inexpensive types of feed made from cheap ingredients and with a high proportion of grain and other additives very often lead to intolerance reactions in this breed, which then manifest themselves primarily in skin problems. This should also be considered when choosing a snack for in between. If the worst comes to the worst, it is best to use normal food as a reward for training, which of course must be taken into account when calculating the daily ration. Basically, the amount of food and thus the energy supply always depends on the individual age, health and activity status of a dog in order to avoid a deficiency or oversupply. Of course, access to fresh drinking water must always be guaranteed. Health, life expectancy, and common diseases. As already mentioned, the Shar Pei breed was severely decimated in China in the 1950s by state repression. Only in Hong Kong and Taiwan were there still a few purebred dogs. With the sudden great interest in wrinkled dogs in the USA during the 1970s, there was a real boom, which led to the forced breeding of numerous puppies from a very small genetic pool of few parents. Here, the emergence of various hereditary diseases was accepted in favor of speedy market satisfaction. Nowadays, only regulated breeding by recognized breeding associations tries to get these negative consequences under control again. A disease typical of this breed is the so-called familial Shar Pei fever, in which there are episodes of high fever of over 41 degrees, painful, swollen joints, and/or a thickened snout. These recurring inflammatory processes can ultimately lead to amyloidosis in some dogs, as inflammatory breakdown products are deposited in the kidneys or other organs. Early death from kidney failure can result. A breeding selection for particularly pronounced wrinkling almost always causes skin problems such as atopic dermatitis or cutaneous mucoidosis, eye problems due to inwardly rolled eyelids, entropion, ear infections, bone and joint problems. According to the breed standard, such characteristics also lead to the dogs concerned being excluded from breeding. The average life expectancy of the Shar Pei is between 8 and 12 years. Is the Shar Pei right for me? No matter what breed of dog you are interested in, you should always ask yourself a few basic questions before getting a dog. Do I have enough time to take care of the dog, to walk him several times a day and to keep him busy? Do all family members agree to getting a Shar Pei? Who takes care of my dog if I can't? Am I willing to take my Shar Pei with me on vacation? Do my financial resources suffice not only to cover the high purchase price for the puppy, about $1,300 to $2,000, and the initial equipment with a leash, collar, bowl, and basket, but also the running costs for high-quality food, necessary visits to the vet, vaccinations and medication, dog school, dog tax and liability insurance to pay? After all, a dog costs about the same as a small car over the course of its lifetime. If you have finally thought about everything and decided to bring in a Shar Pei as a new family member, you should first find a reputable breeder be searched. Important criteria for the fact that the breeder is really serious about breeding dogs are a manageable number of breeding animals, and litters and the keeping of females and puppies within the family and with close contact to reference persons. A look at the mother dog gives the interested party an impression of whether the breeder cares about the health of his dogs, or rather about selling puppies that are as wrinkled as possible at the highest possible prices. A good breeder will ask questions of the prospect about how and where their dogs will be kept and, if necessary, will refuse to sell a puppy if the prospect's answers are not satisfactory. Feeding recommendations, information on veterinary treatments such as initial vaccinations and deworming, and the offer to contact you after the purchase should be a matter of course for a good breeder. It is best to visit the breeder before you finally buy the puppy. You should never buy a Shar Pei from a pet market or from the trunk of a shady dog dealer. Although these dogs are usually cheaper than from a reputable breeder, there is almost always unscrupulous and cruel animal cruelty behind them. The mother animals are kept under terrible conditions as pure litter machines. The puppies are neither vaccinated nor otherwise veterinary treated, often suffer from acute, at worst fatal diseases soon after purchase or remain a lifelong case for the vet, and that is under much more expensive than the puppy from a reputable and responsible breeder. In addition to purchasing from a breeder, it may also be worth going to an animal shelter. There are actually many purebred dogs waiting to find a new and beautiful home here. Various animal welfare organizations have also dedicated themselves specifically to helping Shar Pei in need, and are looking for suitable, loving owners for such dogs. If you have many years of experience in dog ownership, remain consistent in the necessary upbringing of your Shar Pei and do not surrender to his strong-willed Asian charm. You will find a devoted companion in this dog breed who will treat you with unconditional love, and will never shy away from to defend his people against impending dangers with his life. Let us know in the comments below so we can continue being proud of this breed walking among us. Thanks for watching the video. If you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.